Hello, and thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time visiting, I certainly appreciate you giving me an opportunity, and I hope that you'll check out some of my other videos and maybe considering a subscription to the channel. For those that are returning, as always, thank you for your continued support. Now, for any of you die-hard Ktec garage fans out there that just can't wait till Friday mornings to see my uploads, I know that you realize in the last month or so I have not put up a video. There's a couple of reasons for that. The main one is going to be that I live in the southern part of North Carolina, and the temperature for the whole month of August basically ran in the mid-90s for the entire time. This garage that I'm in has no ventilation. I don't have any kind of AC. I had a box fan out here when I was trying to do some work, and it's basically about 110 degrees in here from sun up till probably midnight. It stays stifling in here, so that was part of the problem. Also, in the next little bit, I'm going to be moving from where I'm at, which means I'm going to have to give up the garage. So I've already got a lot of things pulled out of here that put into storage to get ahead of that. But I do have some ideas coming up about some videos that I'm going to do, and I believe I have a situation where I'm going to be able to do these and just continue to make videos for you guys. Now, I'm sure if you saw in the thumbnail, I'm going to be trying an experiment today with my 2000 Honda Accord. This got the classic peeling clear coat. You can get your fingernail up underneath it and dig it off, and it just looks terrible. And the car needs to be completely sanded down, and it needs to be resprayed, and it needs to be re-cleared. There's no real solution to that other than a paint booth to fix that. Now, for the last couple of years, I haven't really had to worry about taking care of the car's exteriors, like polishing and waxing and washing and all those things. But with the purchase of the new Tesla, I've actually bought some cleaning supplies and polishing and paint correction and things like that I'm going to go back and so I can keep up with the paint job on that car, so I can keep it looking as fresh as possible. Well, these products that I have, they came from a company called Chemical Guys. I'm sure if you have plenty of automotive videos popping up in your new YouTube feed, you see these guys all the time with their products. And I have bought a buffer and some polishing compound and ceramic coating and things like that I'm going to use for the Tesla. But I thought, well, with the 2000 Accord looking like it does, let me give their products a shot at that just to see what the before and after would look like. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, here are some of the supplies on my bench that I've recently acquired to keep up with paint on my cars now. And this one right here, this buffer that I got, I bought it from the Chemical Guys, and they actually have a kit where they sell you this Torque brand polishing wheel, buffing wheel. Then they give you 3 different thicknesses of pads, and they give you a selection of some of their products to try out, just kind of like a sampler pack. Now, in addition to the products here, I've also purchased from them this ceramic coating, Hydro Slick ceramic coating hyper waxes. I mean, it sounds very high tech and all. We'll see how well it does, but I'm going to compare that on the Accord with this cheaper Turtle Wax brand. I guess it's Turtle Wax. It's got their logo on it. Ceramic coating they got at an auto parts store. This isn't going to be a real world test because I'm not going to be using this on a car that has paint that's really savable, but we'll just give it a shot and see what the before and after looks like. So let me get set up here, and we're going to go ahead and start on the car. Okay, I'm getting set up here. I'm just going to show you the pad that I'm going to use. This is the one that's medium heavy cutting pad. I doubt I'll be using this one on the new paint job on the other car, so I'll give this a shot on what we have here. And it's just got Velcro on the back, and it just sticks on the pad. I'm going to show you which compound I chose to go with as well. Now, the one out of the bottle that I'm chose to use is going to be the Extreme Compound. They have another one that I think is going to probably even be more abrasive. It says cutting on that, and since this was already down to the bare paint, I'm not going to do that because I'm liable to polish the paint right off the car and start looking at metal as old as this is. So let me get this set up, and I'll show you what the instructions say to do, and we'll get started on this. Okay, I'm ready to go here. What it says to do is put like 5 drops on this, and then you're going to work in 2x2 sections. So in other words, I'm going to just kind of split this into quadrants. I'm going to get this top corner right here done first, and then move my way around. Okay, and with those that now applied, I'm just going to tap it in different places on the hood where I'm going for. Okay, and we'll switch her on and give her a shot. obviously I did not get enough product on the wheel to begin with, and also you can see since this is not clear coat, I'm actually polishing paint, so it's coming off purple on the pad. So just keep that in mind if you're doing yours. Don't be afraid, because you are taking bare oxidized paint off the top. So there you go. That's now it's time. I'm supposed to buff this out now and then move on to the other corners. So let me get a microfiber. We'll go ahead and buff this, and we're going to take a look at the before and after. I mean, actually, it looks pretty dang good. It's about 3,000% better than where it was, but we'll take a look when we're completely finished. And you can see on my pad, on my microfiber, where some of the paint is coming off. Now as I'm buffing this out, I can see some of that nice shine that I had already starting to go away. So we'll just finish up the whole thing, and then we'll go with the ceramic coating and see how it goes from there. So there you go. Let me do the rest of the car. I'll come back when I'm ready to put the ceramic coat on. Okay, I have half the hood done now, and I've got most of the compound back off of it. And I've just got this close up here to show you. When you have old paint like this, like back in the day when you used to buy a car and it didn't have clear coat on it, it gets white and oxidized, and that's what your waxing and buffing does. So even though it's not shining right now, it did take that coat of oxidation off of the top of that layer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with that cheap Turtle Wax brand ceramic coating, and I'm going to do it on the right side of the hood as we're looking at it, and then we're going to compare the two, and then I'm going to finish up buffing this, and I'm going to show you the ceramic coating, the more expensive one from the chemical guys. Okay, the instructions for this says to spray twice, like go over it and go over it again, and then you're going to wipe off the excess, and then you're going to use a clean microfiber to buff that out. But since I'm not worried about it, I'm not going to be wasting my microfibers on this. I'm just going to use the same one. I'm going to start at the top and just work my way down. That feels about right. And all I'm doing is just kind of spreading this out and getting it even right now. And again, if I was really worried about this, I would be a lot more careful about how I'm applying this. All right. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for just a second to make sure it's what's gonna dry is dried, and then I'm gonna buff it with this clean side here and see what we got. And there you have it. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let that sit for about 2 minutes. I'm going to give this another spray, give this the best chance in the world I can for it to work. But as you can see, the results right now, they're not really blowing my skirts up, and they're probably not yours either. Okay, and that's finishing up the second coat there. And again, that is definitely not anything to write home about. It is better than it was, but I do not think that's worth your time and effort. So to give this test the best chance I can, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the left side of the car as we're looking at it, and we're going to use the actual Chemical Guys ceramic coating polish and see how that looks. I'll come back when I'm ready to put the polish on. Okay, I'm done with that side. As you can see on the side we've already finished, after everything had a chance to dry, a lot of that white started to come back into it. So we're going to go over now with the Chemical Guys, the little high quality ceramic coating. It says to put some on. They have an applicator for it, but it's basically a microfiber. It's a sponge with microfiber wrapped around it. So I'm going to put it on this. It says to just apply it evenly, let it dry for 1 to 2 minutes, and then buff it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, don't think you're supposed to swirl it. Just a natural instinct to do that. Yeah, I can tell right now this probably is not going to do it. But we're going to give it all the best shot we can, even though I didn't use a clay bar and I didn't really wash the car before I started, because I knew this had a high chance for failure. All right, let me finish this up. We'll come back when I'm done. Okay, I've given that about 2 or 3 minutes now to kind of harden up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and buff the top part off and see what the end result is. Just using a clean microfiber this time because I wanted to give this Chemical Guys product the best chance I could versus, well, maybe not the best chance, but a better chance to see if it could actually bring a little bit back out of this. All right, so I finished up buffing the Chemical Guys side, and I think it's probably mostly dry, but I can start to see some of the white coming back through like it did on this side with the other brand. But for what I can see, just based on this old crappy paint job, that the Chemical Guys product is better than that stuff that you're going to get at the AutoZone. Now, I'll have one more trick I'm going to try. This is going to be super old school. We're going to see what the end result is. So here we go, guys. Probably basically what your old man was using on his 69 Chevelle back in the day. I'm just going to go over this with some turtle wax just to this little section here, and we're going to buff it out and compare it to everything else. All right, I'm getting to the end of what I'm going to call done with the polishing, and you young kids don't know how good you got it with today's products, because it used to take you about 6 hours to polish your cars back in the days. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit, then we're going to buff it off. All right, so I've given the old turtle wax a chance to set up here, and now we're just going to buff off the excess and see what we got. You don't rub it off, you just basically you're trying to polish the turtle wax at this point. You want as much to stay on the car as you can. All right, not too shabby. We'll let it dry a little bit, and we're going to compare it to see how much of this white comes back underneath the turtle wax. Okay, I've given that turtle wax a little bit of time here, and you can see it's performing better than that ceramic coating that I got at the auto parts store, the turtle wax brand. Now that stuff, I'm sure if you put that on clear coat and clean it, it's gonna leave you a good hydrophobic surface that water and things aren't going to stick to. But this is not designed to go down on base coat, so don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking the Chemical Guys. This was not a fair test for their products, but I just wanted to see what we could achieve. One last thing I'm going to do in this turtle wax section, since that did come out looking halfway decent, is I'm going to use this finishing pad with my dual action buffer there, and we're just going to go over that real light, and we're going to see if I can get that to shine a little bit more. Just to look here, it may have taken a little bit of the hand swirls out of that, but not too much. I think that's probably with the polishing the undercoat like I did before, and then actually putting a coat of turtle wax on top of that, the old school turtle wax, I think that is probably going to be the absolute best result you can get. And lastly, I'm going to get it out in the sun. We're going to take a look at it, the final results. So we got turtle wax, the Chemical Guys Slick ceramic coating, and then the Auto Store ceramic coating. All right, guys, we're out here in direct sunlight now, and we're just going to take a look around. I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but as you can see, the dollar store or auto parts store turtle wax ceramic coating, again, it's probably a good in-between thing to put on a car that's got clear, but it's not going to work on something like this. The Chemical Guys side does look a lot better than it did. It does look better than the other side. The white's not coming through quite as much. But to be honest, I think the number one was going to be the old school turtle wax right here. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm just going to go over the whole hood with turtle wax and be done with it. I won't bother showing you the results. It's all going to come out looking about like this right here anyway. Okay, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of the day's video. I did end up going ahead and going back and turtle waxing the whole hood of the car. Here's another shot of it. I can put it side by side with the original, how it looked in the first part of the video. You make up your mind for yourself. I'm a little hotter, I'm a little wiser now. Don't waste your time, money, and effort on that peeling clear coat on these old cars. You're not going to get it right. Now, are there other things I could have done? Yes, I could have washed the car thoroughly. I could have wet sanded the car. I could have come back after the wet sand and then really did a good buff, hard compound buff on the base coat, and then come back and put whatever polished sealer on top of that that I thought was going to work the best. If this video gets any traction, it seems like people might be interested in it. The hood of the car still is just as bad as the roof of the car is still just as bad as the hood of the car. Let me know in the comments. I will go back. I will wash it. I will wet sand it. I will compound it, do all like I said before, and we'll get a real world look at what the top of the car can look like after this kind of treatment. These guys that you see, I saw one guy in the junkyard using his thumbnail to feather the clear coat and using some kind of product. Yeah, it might look good for 20 minutes, but as soon as everything gets dry, no, it's going to come right back the way it used to look. Don't fall for that. At any rate, I appreciate you guys watching today, and I'll check you out in the next video.